around looking for a bit of revenge. Health bar low, though, doesn't see VGO in the darkness, and that could be critical. Shield slow, coming out, knock up there. Shockwave, pull back the kill! Full kill thus far, but the bait waiting in the darkness. Oh, Sheo's been here before! It's a rerun, level 1, level 2, all over again.
I can ult Jarvan after Xin together, we're winning there. Nice, one pet less, huge.
And welcome back to the LEC as Vedius finishes the first week 2-1 here in Winter, and I have Sheo with me to talk about the week as a whole and this amazing victory. Hello.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah, are you happy about the week? First thing.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy. We did 2-1, so
yeah.
I think it's a good result.
Yeah, getting back to work and just go, I guess it's a good result to start with. I want to talk about the draft for a bit because Rumble was permabanned so far and you left it open today. And when I saw the draft and the fact that you picked Karma, I was like, it must be a good answer against Rumble, but Karma doesn't strike me as an add-on champion per se. Right. You guys went for Sion in the end, but how did you identify that Rumble was not going to be an issue given the fact that no team took the risk of leaving it open so far?
I will say Adam is pretty confident to play tanks against Rumble. Yeah. So if the team just goes for like Rumble, Oriana, Jarvan, full team fights, and you have two front lane like Sion, Xin, I think we are kind of chilling in the game.
All right, and if you have answers against Rumble, I feel like that's going to be interesting following BDS and the way you guys can draft. Yesterday I had Adam and I wanted to ask about the bot lane, but we didn't have time, so the question is going to be for you. Bringing in a Korean AD carry, we've talked about the fact that maybe when you look at Crowny and what he could bring in the team last year was more centered around team fight, late game and stuff like this, and I feel like bringing in the bot lane, in the bot lane like this is going to bring more stability maybe in the early game and the laning phase. How has it been working with him so far? And what was the reasoning behind bringing this player in with the team?
I mean, with Ice, it's going really good, I think. He brings more like stability, like you say.
Yeah.
Really good mechanically player. And just like can play low-key anything. And we can play really more aggro early game, just like we did yesterday, for example. And we have more space in com as well, I would say.
How is he integrating with the rest of the team? Because I know that BDS has a crazy side with the intros you do and everything. Is he blending in well so far?
Yeah, he's doing good, he's doing good.
Awesome, perfect. I want to finish the interview with a game that we played with a lot of players this weekend. I want to make sure that you did your homework and that you worked on the patch. So I'm going to show you an item. And the game is Spot the Imposter. So basically in the path build of the item, there's going to be something wrong. You can see it behind you, but I have also on my tablet as well if you want to check. What is the wrong component when you look at the item like this?
Well, I have the name in French, but...
what is the name in French?
Sceptre vampirique.
Yeah, no scepter, okay.
It's not good, no?
Yeah, that's the one. It's not good. Item opportunity, of course. You can show, the right answer, production. And you got it right.
I know.
You did your homework, Sheo. Congratulations.
I read
you
the
can
patch.
keep your job. You read the patch. And you're free to go for another week. Thank you so much, Sheo, for the interview. Good luck on week 2 of the LEC. And Sjokz, back to you.
Merci beaucoup. He got it right indeed. Thank you so much. Great first week for BDS, I would say. But we're heading into G2 versus Rogue up next. And something insane is happening if you're watching, because G2 is 2-0, but still my analysts have criticism for them. And you know, all they do is say, oh, G2's so good, G2's so amazing, G2's sick.
We're so biased all the time, yeah, but now we can't. Because I'm so disappointed with the way they've been playing the early games actually so far. I think the only one who's been reliable from the laning phase and forward has been Caps that's been outperforming them. But I think from the bot lane's perspective, from BP, they've not been able to get the same leads that we used to see from G2. They would usually be smash early game, we're so much better than everyone else, and then we take over the game. But you have a look at the stats right now from the Winter is on the left and Seasons Finals on the right. So far in Winter, you can actually see from the early game, they're behind, and even the games they've been having so far, the game against BDS, they had to punish on BDS overloading the bot side. In the game yesterday as well, they had to punish on the mid lane. It's just the fact that they're not creating their own openings, they're punishing the mistakes of their enemy to come back into the game.
Yeah, no, I see the point, and I see that G2 has been a bit behind in the early game, but I do think, as Mikyx said on PGL this Saturday, is that they're practicing a lot of new concepts. they're practicing their map rotations especially and making sure they're very crisp. So that's when the time comes, they feel very good practicing against like higher level opponents. And I think that's where they're a bit more loose right now in their gameplay.
Yeah, I guess the ideal world would be where, you know, the lanes are stable, plus the mid game is so entirely clean that you never give the opponent a chance to come back. On the other hand, though, it shouldn't be an excuse for, I guess, your lane not going the way you want.
Yeah,
right?
because I completely agree. You can still go for the concepts you're going for, but laning phase is the fundamental of the early game coming out of it, and we've seen better for them as well. Obviously, I don't think this defines them as a team whatsoever. I still think they're at the top of the league individually and their playstyle moving forward, but I just think I had higher expectations of how fast they would come out the gate from the start of the season.
This kind of comes from draft often. Like we would see in the game one, especially like BrokenBlade pick Gwen into Renekton, which is like it's a very tough matchup to put yourself into willingly, and I think that might be why they're having these rough early games. It's actually from draft mostly.
Some of the choices that they're making, of course, they want us to hold them to a very high standard because of the goals, the lofty goals they have, and the way they speak about that. So I only think that's fair. One person, though, that hasn't dropped the ball at all, I feel, is Yike once again. Finn, I mean, the guy is an absolute prodigy. And
he's also Swedish.
He's also Swedish.
Yeah.
Is that why, actually?
That might be why.
Okay.
He's playing out of his mind. I saw the Viego yesterday. They were fighting 3v4 bot lane against K-Corp, and his just mechanical knowledge of the champion actually turned around that fight and gave them a huge advantage in the K-Corp game, and I think that is just so impressive.
No, I completely agree. And I also think just going into the mid game, it's nice to have that from a jungler if you're not taking a charge from the lanes where he can still be supported. It's not necessarily happening through lane priority into counter jungling, but the skirmish is then where you have the trust of then him coming out ahead and leading into the mid game, especially with Void Grubs and Rift Herald being so contested as it is right now. Having your jungler ahead, having Yike with the champion pool that he currently has is a big strength to your team.
Yeah, so a few pointers for G2, but overall, I think G2 fans can be happy. On the other side, though, Rogue, I mean, we know a lot of the players on this roster, and we know how they can perform, and I'm just not seeing it, Finn. What's going on?
I think right now Rogue is just skipping a lot of steps in their gameplay. They know what they want to do, but they don't really take the correct path to do it. Like, I think they had a Herald, I think it was yesterday against Heretics. We might even get it on the screen soon.
Yeah.
Pretty much that. So there's two waves crashing in mid and top. Larssen is contesting mid and Szygenda is contesting top. Markoon then starts the grubs before FLICKR even shows on bot. So here what they actually have to do is they have to wait for FLICKR to show catching the wave on bot. They have to get this mid push together, Zoelys, Larssen and Markoon, and then they can start the grubs. Here he's doing it a bit too fast. And as we can roll the clip here, we're gonna see that this Varus and Bard coming out opening topside, they're just really happy about this because they're like, wow, we wanna fight and you guys are doing it for us? So kind of you, thank you so much. We're gonna kill you and take the Grubalitos and later the game. So that was really, really silly, I think.
Say Grubalitos?
Grubalitos, yeah.
Oh, is that...
With a lot of new names, that's a good one.
Is that Spain you're identifying with, or what is this?
I would say in the area, yeah.
Okay.
I'm feeling a bit Iberian, yeah.
Yeah, you've been there before, you had some time hanging out. I
wanted to
think
reply.
with Rogue as well, yeah, I think it's just been so disappointing watching them play as well. The first game they have this season, just random solo kills by Larssen that just randomly dies in lane, Szygenda randomly dying in lane, and they're just so slow, and we see it in yesterday's games too against Team Heretics. It's so boring, it's so slow paced. I was sitting at home falling asleep having a look at it, and it's frustrating because it's like the old Rogue, where it's like they are meticulous, they are slow paced, and they have the macro, but the new Rogue only has the slow paced. There's no macro, there's no winning lanes that they used to have where there were some of the strongest laners with Odoamne, Larssen and the bot lane coming through. Now you're just seeing a team that looked a bit disjointed. So I'm really hoping that Markoon gets to gel with the team, gets to have that factor where he used to be good on an early game champion, Poppy, Elise, Volibear. That's when we've seen him be strongest, and Poppy's still meta, so I hope we can see something proactive come out from him.
Maybe. And speaking of Markoon, let's hear from Markoon about his ambitions with Rogue prior to the split.
I mean, I think I respect like Larssen a lot as a player. I always wanted to play with him. Like if I get the chance to play with Larssen, I was really down to take it. And I think Szygenda played pretty well last year as well. So once like Rogue started talking to me, I was pretty interested in joining them. And then for me, Comp, I think, yeah, let's just say he had not the best last year, right? But I think the year before that, he was probably the best AD carry for at least one split, and then second best maybe in spring. So a player like that with that much experience, like he has it in him, right? So one bad year for me is not gonna completely change my opinion on him. So I think it's just very solid players, made me very interested. Like in XL, I was the rookie with like three veterans that had been playing their whole career. I think in SK, like the leadership role was kind of like appointed towards me. I don't think I was that good at it either. Like I think I work better at this point, not being a full leadership. But I think also in Rogue, I don't need to be a leader. Like there's very veteran players, and the coaching stuff looks very solid. So I don't think I'll have to take the leadership role, which I'm not too sad about.
Well, clear there for Markoon. Maybe this different approach will be better for me, GB. The fact that I can be flanked by all these experienced players, but on the other hand, it's still coming into a new team.
And I think that's really where we've seen the dents in the team so far as well, where they aren't really that much of a team yet. Like, they don't look like a well-oiled machine. The set plays isn't really there. I think Finn's breakdown really highlights some of the set plays just not being there for what the fundamental goes down to of seeing an enemy lane or actually counting the enemy, starting an objective up before you have the confirmation of all your teammates. But I also think what they need right now is just a dub, all right? They are they're in a slump right now. They really need something where they can just keep building from that foundation, because this is kind of a new team.
Yeah, we do have a hardware delay on stage, or a hardware issue, rather. I'm thinking that's, maybe it's just... I'm not going to speak on how long it may take. Hopefully not too long, indeed. But Finn, Markoon was also talking about the coaching staff there from Rogue and how important that's going to be.
Yes, as a player that has been on Rogue for 2 years and know the coaching staff very well, I know exactly how to tackle these issues. And right now they're going to simplify and make sure they find a style they're good at. 2020, with me on the team, it was scaling. We had a farming jungler, 2 strong carries in the bot lane, and a tank top. 2022, when they were at their best, it was strong lanes, push lanes, push, fight, good, get leads. I think they have to find something that works and really specialize on this. Maybe intensify the champion pool a bit. Don't play more than 2-3 champions at a time, and just make sure you find something that works and then build upon that.
Yeah, because you can clearly see also, just not to say anything bad about Markoon, but the impact that Malrang maybe has left, because even if you had stale laners, Malrang could flip plays before where he would force someone to go for a play and actually be proactive on the map, where we haven't seen the same proactivity from them so far. I don't think there's necessarily an issue going down to Markoon. The sample size way too low to even make a guess from that estimate, but I also just think that I want to see Markoon in more comfort. I was very surprised to see him on the Maokai yesterday, also as one of the only teams having brought it out so far. So yeah, I want to see him narrow that champion pool down to aggression, because that's where I think we've seen him be best.
A point that was made earlier about, I can't remember which team it was, maybe it was Vitality, but about the fact that, in the bot lane we have a change in the support role, we also have a change in the jungle role specifically, and even if you have the people that know each other very well and are comfortable and can put up those numbers, that's the kind of synergies that take a long time to be perfect. And you need to get really comfortable with each other in terms of jungle, support, etc. The roaming, getting the timings right, getting the communication on point. So I do think if you're going to change member, it's probably a hard synergy to build up.
Yeah. And as I said many times, I think the support, jungle and mid is the heart, the lungs and the brain of the team. And I do think that we need to get Zoelys more integrated with Markoon and Larssen, making sure he's more in the place. Because recently I feel like Zoelys is walking into one side of the map, while Markoon and Larssen is like doing somewhere else. And I feel like these 3 pieces need to synchronize way more. For them to do better.
Yeah, but it's also very difficult starting out on the team, but I think it comes down to what you were saying as well. Like, you just get Markoon and Zoelys synced up on something where we go in together. You have an engaged champion on support, you have a skirmish champion like Xin Zhao in the jungle, okay? If you can link up and actually build a mid laner around that for the right rotations, around grubs in the early game, around Rift Herald, around counter jungling, well, all of a sudden it becomes way easier to find that. But it's so much easier to say rather than actually do it in game, syncing up and finding the wave pressure to actually have the first move and actually go for these plays. So difficult, and that's going to be what's going to be plaguing them moving forward.
Yeah, we'll see. Indeed, it's a difficult one, and in the past we would have said, well, you have a whole season to make it work. It isn't the case, though. Finn, can you speak a little bit to how it is kind of claustrophobic if you end 0-3 on the first week just because of the new system and the fact that you actually don't have that many weeks to workshop what you need to?
This format can be suffocating, especially for the lower tier teams. As someone that was in this position last winter in Astralis, I can really feel like as the days pass and as the weeks go, you feel like there's no room to breathe almost. And as I said previously, and I'm trying to iterate it again and again, they need to find something that works. Even if that is Larssen picking an Azir, scaling for 25 minutes, getting a great team fight, I feel like they just need to find one stepping stone that they can build upon.
But you guys almost did that with Astralis as well, moving into the spring and summer split, where you started actually gearing up. If you would have any advice going forward to this, is this just the steps you laid out here? What do you think was a good fix for you guys back then?
I feel like there's no easy fix. In Astralis, I think what worked for us was that we just had some games that certain people stepped up on and had like a crazy game. Like there was some Junghoon games, I had a crazy GP game, and they just need like some guy in Rogue to just put the team on his back for one game. Just give it a little momentum to just go forward.
Yeah, we are still talking. That means you are currently experiencing some issues with the client on stage. I was lied to before. League officials are investigating. But yesterday we were able to make it work in terms of what we got going in the pause. And we actually had a really beautiful moment with some of the Portuguese audience members. Let's take a look back.
If I get to be on a desk with you in the LEC,
we have.
I don't know.
Together.
I know. Pinch me. Pinch me.
Start together.
You know what? Do you want to? I don't know if we can do it with the cameras, but you know we can go right there. You know we could just sit on the desk. We do have SK going up against Mad Lion's Core.
All right.
So, what is your expert opinion on what's going to happen?
Oh wow. Go ahead.
I can take this one.
Okay.
So
I'm sorry, the teams are ready.
So
We're going to hear later.
it's fine.
All right.
Go ahead. Do your thing.
Look who I have, Tibi and Omega. We brought them back because it was just such a cool moment. It actually wasn't planned as much. I did want to talk to you, but we have a pause again. Maybe it's you.
Maybe we are actually hacking the system
Yeah.
just so we have some hair time. Maybe
Yeah.
that's the stuff.
Maybe. Just maybe.
Or
Just
Omega
maybe.
Mon tripped on some cables, so
That's also possible.
That's very
That's
possible.
the most possible way.
Yeah. Hey, talk to me about yesterday. It was so random, but I watched back the clip, and the audience was actually cheering for you because I think you came with the G2 fan club, right?
Look behind you.
They're all over
There
there.
they
Oh
are.
my God.
Yeah. There they are.
There they are. They are
I can't
friends.
read the signs though.
Yeah,
it's a bit annoying.
Yeah, that's true. We came with the G2 guys. Like, I've been, for example, in other events as well, and I was a fan of G2 before anything else. And the way that they received us and treat us, it's so amazing that once you go to a live event, I feel like that's the moment where instead of being just a fan, you become part of it.
Okay.
So we really feel it, and just the fact that everyone else now is cheering for us, just the fact that we are here, just goes to show like this is a brotherhood.
It was such a warm moment indeed. And of course, yesterday you didn't get the chance to flex your knowledge, so you can do it today. It is G2 versus Rogue. What do you think?
I mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. All the casters are ready. I apologize. Yeah, casters, take it away. Sorry, guys.
Do your thing again.
Oh, that's awkward that keeps happening. It's not like we planned it. Anyway, here's time for the walkouts. Again, we're keeping it vanilla ice cream this week. No one wants to add a little vanilla bean in, maybe dab.
Hey, vanilla is a great flavor.
Great
okay?
flavor.
I
Ooh,
love
fist
vanilla.
bumps, we like that. Little fist bump, okay. Mix it up.
You know, one day they're just gonna be like, no, bam, punch him right in the face.
You know
like,
who I miss? I miss Armut. You know, he had a thing and he did that
have a
one thing a lot.
He did have that thing.
But he did a lot. We are here to cast Rogue vs G2 Esports. It's looking pretty G2 favored right now. It would have probably been coming into the season regardless, as G2 have kept the same lineup. But Rogue obviously struggling in the first 2 days. We'll see what they can do.
I'm excited. G2, I mean, the desk talked about it. Their early games have been a bit questionable at times, but their mid games definitely have showcased some very incredible macro. In day one, we got to see them play against BDS, where even though they were falling behind in kills, they got all of the early dragons. They were able to get the Herald as well, and they just mitigated and scaled out, bought time to be able to fight back into the game. And KC was very back and forth, very competitive matchup.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what they can do today. Will Rogue show us something new, or will they continue to struggle?
Finn said simplify.
Simplify.
So I feel like it might be new from what we've seen this weekend, but could also be old in terms of what we've seen overall. If their goal is to bring it back to the basics, as it was so many years ago for Finn.
Now, the Renata Glask ban does suggest that G2 is considering an early Nautilus priority. We've been seeing a lot of Aphelios from Hans Summit this weekend. Really the only team that has been putting this champion on a very high priority.
Is super surprising because he's, again, mentioned in the hotfix, but just objectively pretty strong right now. Also as the champion as far as scaling ADs go, that gives you a little bit of everything you could want if you're proficient in playing him. And we'll see. Maybe that's a pick that Rogue want to contest.
So what will this last ban be? Varus, Ashe, both still available. Has to be the LeBlanc, considering what we saw from Caps yesterday. So will it continue to be the Aphelios priority for G2?
Draven.
The Draven is open.
For Hans Sama? They would never. He's just
You can see
smiling.
the smile on BB's face.
All right, Neeko instead. It was
doesn't
Neeko.
mean
It was
that-
actually Neeko the whole time, audience. That's just the cool thing about Neeko.
Doesn't mean that Draven's off the table yet, though, audience. Don't let that hover
Dissuade
deceive you.
you.
Yeah, dissuade. Better word.
We're on opposite sides of this one, though. If you're a Draven fan, I want to see more Aphelios. Yeah, but
You're no fun.
I like the G2 Esports strategy of banning the Tristana, who's one of the more conventionally strong options into the LeBlanc. It essentially forces the ban out from Rogue, and now Rogue, Varus, kind of pick of the litter. Again, he can build anything and be relevant. He usually gets pushed in lane. It's the reason why so many teams are so quick to pick this champion up. Very mixed results on the weekend thus far. Can obviously be good, regardless of what build you go, but just a solid pick, you know?
Sure, I mean, especially with Ashe up. You imagine that Varus Ashe could very well be the bot lane for Comp and Zoelys. The Trundle. Ooh, I love this as an answer to Xin Zhao.
Okay, I love more that Yike locked in Trundle and then looked across the stage to the opposite side. I don't know what that was about, but it was personal. Aphelios also coming through.
I mean, Trundle was a big answer to Viego back when he was big and popular in the meta. He's also really good into things like Nocturne. He's just good into champions that want to hit you a lot.
Want to hit you, yeah. I mean, he steals AD.
Yep.
So generally, and he has huge steroids in his kit. So
if it's a contest of slapping another opponent in the face, he's just the professional slapper.
You know what's interesting? We saw Lethal Tempo Jarvan. I could see an angle for Lethal Tempo Trundle being very strong into Xin.
Potentially, we'll have to wait and see. With the Aphelios, in fact, locked in, they will forego the Draven, and he will deliver on what you are hoping for. That means that 3 games of Aphelios.
Talk about the colors of the guns. That's right. Daniel Drakos and preschoolers. People excited to talk about the color red.
and white, don't fight, remember? Yeah,
I got one thing, and I'm going to keep bringing it up. Anyway, Melio's been banned away. Makes a lot of sense. This champion is dumb. He's just so strong.
When paired with Aphelios,
Anything.
for sure, yeah. I don't know, the Melio Lucians have not impressed me.
Okay, but that's Lucian's fault. No one in our region can play Lucian. I'm telling you now, it just doesn't work. I would love to be proven wrong, however. That said, Melio taking off the board, Heimer as well.
Imagine Ashe quick to follow. If,
a lot of these high priority early bot laners. Varus already should be expected to get the push early on, despite the range discrepancy between the green gun and Varus, but what are they going to pair with? Are they going to fight more for push, or are they willing to pick in some of these more aggressive options? Taking away Mikyx Nautilus does make some sense.
It does increase the prio on things like the Rell. Can't say that I love Rell Aphelios as a bot lane duo.
I liked the Karma that we saw in the previous game. I wonder if we see more of the Karma. Will also call out there is always a world where it's a Trundle flex.
Oh, can it?
Trundle very good into a mobile carries, generally.
I really think the Trundle is jungle.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm with you. I'm leaving open the door.
Oh?
Liliatot?
We should never talk about hovers. I don't know what that's the first rule of casting school.
The first rule of new season is have fun. You know what I mean?
Fair.
Just
that's
like pray that you get to see the hype stuff. Okay, Rakan again. We got the Rakan Varus combo. Didn't look great in our previous game. Passed a couple of moments in the early laning phase, but maybe Zoelys and Comp can show us a different version, different take on the duo.
The Jax lock in for BrokenBlade. Something that he did have a lot of great performances on last year. Are we going to get to see Mikyx Swain? Stop, I should.
No, he's playing with our hearts.
He's playing with our hearts. He's trolling Laure right now. He knows that she's an avid Zyra fan.
Debating. What is the
not
option
debating.
going to be?
They know what it is, and it's not Zyra.
Well, there's a lot of purple on their team. Will they round it out with a 5th purple champion? No, it could be Pyke. Oh, come on. Come. All right.
It's Rell,
It's
which
the
is what we
most
said.
boring option. Oh, look at all those fun things he could have played. Not today, folks. Practical.
That's so funny. He's literally showing you like,
Rell.
hey, do you remember all these fun champs that you guys get to have fun with in solo queue? Yeah, we don't play that here. It's professional play. All right, well, when we look across the entire composition of G2, very stock standard. They do have some side lane threat with the Jax, but overall, very strong team fighting, a lot of wombo combo potential, relatively good scaling, thanks to the Aphelios and the Jax in the late game. But I do think that Rogue do have a pretty big range advantage, very similar to BDS, a traditional front-to-back with the Cassante acting as the frontline tank instead of a Scion, along with the Xin Zhao and the Rakan to act as follow-up engage. But you imagine that the lethality Varus will come out for comp, which again means very front to back. So it will be on the responsibility of G2 to try and find these flanks, find creative ways to break up the traditional front to back, maybe getting onto the objective first, or finding ways in which they can access the backline. We'll have to wait and see if they can pull it off, but simplified. I think the Rogue's composition is very straightforward. Front line goes forward, back line plays behind them.
And especially with the Varus, you know, you've kind of got this champion who's going to be able to win out on push you would expect in the early game, depending on how the 2v2 goes. You've got Azir who will scale well into the late game. K'Sante, who you've seen at his best, looks as oppressive as ever when he's able to get ahead on some of this tank itemization, start picking up the more support-focused items, as we saw from Oscarinen earlier in the weekend. So overall, you're right. Simplified game plan here. Pretty safe drafts on both sides, I would say. Nothing too crazy outside of the Trundle jungle. And it is lethal tempo Trundle.
Lethal tempo Trundle.
He bonks fast.
Wow, I did. Lethal tremble.
Lethal, yeah. That's say that one 5 times. It's not that hard, but
it's not that hard.
Here we go. See, you know, what Markoon can do in this jungle matchup. In the words of Zanzara, you know, Trundle walks up and bonks you. What do you do? What do you do about it? Nothing. Was the answer in most cases with Zanzara.
I remember Zanzara also introduced the W max tech. I wonder if that's still the same.
I was going to call that out. Nice. Same page. Hansama just ate a ton of damage for free. That's a bit lackluster.
You think like, oh, is there some sort of clever tech here? Nope. Just going to lose his life. Cool.
Just wanted to give over a mana flow band stack.
Here's what I will say. Rogue didn't see the rest of G2, meaning that they didn't have full information as to where G2 was, meaning no topside vision likely invested from Rogue.
I like
if they did reveal themselves, then the first thing Markoon would have done is wandered over to blue buff, dropped a little ward down, and said, haha, I know where you are, Yike. What are you going to do about it?
Connecting the dots, Vedi. Very Pepe Sylvia of you. I respect it.
It's kind of what I have to do, and I love it when I say these things, and then you ask the pro later, and they're like, nah, Hansama just
we did that. Yeah. Infamously, we spent like 2 days building this segment about Ottawamne and Schalke taking Drakes, and we finally asked Odo what his team was doing, and he's like, oh yeah, we didn't think about any of that. We just said, let's go Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah. The classic
the
conundrum.
Mind of a pro. Sometimes you think it's on a higher level.
Once you're convinced that they're geniuses, you just attribute everything to genius.
Yeah, it's true. But they are just people, and they too sometimes make mistakes. But so far, nothing egregious.
Oh, W will connect onto Zoelys. Bit of a trade back there. Gleaming Quill start for an extra bit of sustain. Of course, nice thing about these Aphelios guns is they're the perfect guns for the early levels. They give you sustain, they give you range. You can sit relatively comfortably. So even laning phase thus far.
Had a good weekend.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm living for this.
Yeah. It's just, I kind of know what to expect in this early game.
Yeah. I mean? is the answer nothing?
It's unlikely to be very volatile.
I had what apparently you would describe as a cult meeting this morning, which means I went bouldering. Did someone just cheer for a cult meeting? All right, we're going to talk about that later, but...
How did it go?
Great.
Yeah.
I feel weak.
Did you get another one to also get a tattoo?
No. That's not the point. We just climb fake rocks. It's weirder when you say it out like that, though, I will say.
Did you then play Magic afterwards?
No. None of
but
that.
Did you make plans to make?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, exactly.
You were there when that happened. You knew it happened. I was backed into a corner. I'm not going to lie to the people at home. So
to update people, what happened is Yike has Prow in bot lane. So he knows that he wins trades 1v1 against Markoon. So he said, you know what, I'll use my Prow and I'll invade on the bot side. Fortunately for Markoon, he didn't lose too much off the back of it. So it's not the end of the world.
Yike's going to walk in here. Larssen's not going to push any buttons because he's smart and thus gets to walk away for free because the second Yike uses the pillar, he dashes out to safety. So just a little drive-by exchange of spells there.
I do feel kind of bad for Larssen because he used to be the Azir guy.
The guy.
You know? But now everyone just plays Azir all the time. And it's just kind of like less of a cool thing anymore.
Instant engage now coming out. The classic bait and switch. What I assume happened there is that Hansama and Mikyx faked a base, and then Zoelys and Comp decided to push up, and we're caught in a classic trap, a classic ruse from the bot lane. It's going to force Zoelys back. It's going to force Comp off the wave as well. Well, time to follow. It means that Comp is going to have to back off here, maybe lose a little bit of XP. But not going to hurt too much as he's able to stay in the area. Just frustrating for the back timings there.
But we look at Zoelys on the mini-map, and you can see he's making his way towards mid. Keep my eye on Yike as well. He wants to try and contest those Raptors respawns. But I don't know if he's going to have assistance. BrokenBlade looking for a fight.
Walking in, looking for the stun. Just barely able to get the edge on there.
That's a kill.
Rasp proc. Unstoppable.
Ooh.
Okay.
Great patience being shown there from Szygenda. I'm sure BrokenBlade really expected the flash. Szygenda not going to give him that satisfaction.
Certainly not. And you heard it highlighted very well by Jamon on the cast earlier. A lot of these early lane phases are a bit more difficult for K'Sante now because of the changes to Sheen. Normally in a lot of these matchups, because you're pursuing Iceborne Gauntlet, you get an early Sheen for 700 gold on your back. Instead, now you get double Ruby Crystal, which, you know, while nice for an extended laning phase, not as good for some of these short trades.
Well, it's great that you mentioned that too, because I was actually having a conversation with Finn this morning about this matchup specifically, and he was telling me about how you go for the Magic Resist Sunfire into Frozen Heart.
Oh,
and it's very cheap, but basically once you get that itemization, Jax can't do anything anymore. And he basically just neutralizes the lane completely. We even saw the K'Sante yesterday. I forget who built it, but I think it was Oscar Rinnan. Yeah, we saw Oscar Rinnan doing it. And he was starting to actually win out on the trades, which back before with the Divine Thunder and stuff, you wouldn't have been able to do. And the crazy thing is it's very cheap. Frozen Heart now is only 2,200 gold.
Yeah.
It's now actually recommended as like a support item.
Frozen Heart is incredibly strong against any champion who relies on attack speed, and so much of Jax's damage profile is things like the passive on his ultimate, you know, where you're getting those extra hits in.
So keep my eyes on Larssen. He does have a whole squad behind him.
Larssen dash forward, pushback is going to catch Caps, but Mikyx is there to punish. Which Caps is real? Well, it looks like they found the right answer, and they will find first blood. In the mid lane, clean setup and play from the side of Rogue.
Yeah, very well done from Rogue. Finding a first kill onto Caps. Caps' dad has to show a nod of respect towards Rogue, securing that first blood. A bit of proactivity, as they will secure themselves a very early gold lead.
Yep. Balanced out and tempered potentially by the 3 grub buff here on the side of G2, but until they can leverage some of that pushing power, does not matter too much. And here you see the clean setup from Larssen.
Yeah, the second he hits level 6, knows that he's going to get it before Caps can. And he's able to find a quick kill thanks to Markoon and Zoelys being there right behind him. Really nice setup, really great engage.
And we saw
get some first blood.
Just about the exact same play from Niski on day 1, and I have a feeling that we're going to see it a lot more because that wall is so thick right there that if Azir gets set up on you, it's so easy for him to push you back at that point in the lane.
For sure. Very well played by them. We see Markoon hovering the bot side of the map. Looks like that he's not going to go for anything too crazy. That plant will give an indication to G2 as to roughly where he is. They're going to play more defensively for the time being.
Yike might head bot lane. Hansama dangerously close to level 6. Would be able to try to set up with the purple ultimate. Ooh, set on the bot side. Flash out to safety, avoiding the knockup. Zoelys not scared, is able to trade summoners. Ignite for the flash there.
I mean, that's definitely a worthwhile trade. Aphelios not having flash. Field day for the Xin Zhao. We know how much damage the champion can do. Markoon already looking, but Yike is here to cover.
Spotting the Xin. They're not going to try to go for the follow-up here. Comp a few creeps away from 6. They could look to engage. Hansama has cleanse still, however, so the follow-up would be hard.
Early Dragon is available, and that is going to be the objective that Rogue start off. The push in mid, Larssen could be exposed. His flash just came back up.
Yike now coming in, looking for the knock. The pushback is there, but still, they manage to connect, forcing the flash out of Larssen. But so many resources used there on the side of G2. At least just the Neeko ultimate for now. Trading ults, getting the flash up positive, but again, not any greater advantage.
BrokenBlade with a bit of a health advantage. For now, he is winning out on these early trades. But Rogue in a pretty good spot. Secured themselves the first dragon, got themselves first kill. And G2 looking to play this relatively, so Mikyx gonna walk up, steal the crab, give him the thumbs up.
That's pretty disrespectful.
The new meta is you, the fist bump, which you can only do with your teammates. But I think it's pretty cool and disrespectful if you throw up the U knowing that they can't fist bump you back.
Yeah, I feel like the most likely use case for me is jump in with someone else on my team, feed horrendously, and then as the rest of our team lose the consuming fight, you throw up the fist. Because if we go down, at least we go down together. You know, that's my attitude.
I respect it, yeah.
I'll follow the call, even if the call is bad.
Yeah, we've got to get pros using that more. I think that has a lot of funny use cases.
Yeah. The Braum Kek W was a great, great advancement in the meme meta for emotes in game. The Ram is okay. Hands down the most goated emote ever because it is so unreal disrespectful. Some Zed tries to style on you, you sidestep a Q, you hit him with the okay.
My favorite one is the top laners in my solo queue games that run the little camp emoji. And so every time the jungler comes back, you
hit him with a little guy making the s'more.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. That's a good one. I like that.
Well, Sadly, solo queue is the only place you'll see a jungler ever go to the top lane. It's a lonely, cold abyss up there this game. And in most games, although we did see some presence in the previous game.
You know, back in the day, you know, K-Drillers used to tell us, like, oh, you know, like, jungle presence is always about the dives and stuff, but usually still, it's difficult to convince your jungler to come top. Now, anytime you ask for a top, the jungler's going to be like, ah, bro, there's a wall there now.
Ryan literally built a wall here
What
for
do you want me to do,
What do you want me to
bro?
do? I got to walk around that side. I got to go through immigration to get up into this top lane.
I don't have my passport
It's going to take
on me,
30
man.
minutes.
Customs
By
is
the
a
time I'm there,
nightmare.
he might have left, dude. There's literally no time for a
It's
game.
not worth it, bro. I better go bot. But
Bot,
the
they
grubs, don't you want
welcome
to come top for the grubs? No, I can get these while I'm
I'll
passing
get him.
through.
I'll
It's
get him
fine.
down. Here's the setup, though. Hansama, three members rather, on the bot side. Hansama, they're just going to try to burst through this Aphelios. A little bit of healing if he can get the ult off. Maybe he can heal up. He already used it at the start of the fight. Cap's now looking for the fallout. Markoon going down. The dive completely fumbled. Ulti going to come out to try to save the day. Comp now also flashing out to safety. Zoelys waiting as long as he can to use some of these abilities. Not nearly enough burst to threaten him here. He should be able to battle dance back shortly, but instead is going in! That is insane confidence from a rookie. Knew exactly what he could get done there. Mikyx now is going to be in trouble. The dive was disastrous. The follow-up was brave. It was bold. And Rogue come out on top.
What was a disastrous dive for Rogue. They end up making it work. The overextension, the over-aggression from G2 ends up getting punished by Comp and Zoelys. And they're able to turn it into a 2 to 3 kill advantage. Now Hans making his way to mid.
Walking forward, green gun, if you man just hit this one, it's going to do fat damage. Tower's hitting a minion instead of Larssen. Not ideal, but Larssen just going to get chomped down on. Hansama grabbing the kill.
He was trying to push in that wave, but nice lane assignment there from Hans. Let's look back at this dive, though. Hansama and Mikyx, the TP comes out relatively quickly from Caps to try and mitigate it, but it's Markoon to take the initial aggro. You can see a lot of CC on the backline from Mikyx. Lands the stun, lands the ultimate onto 3, but they just don't have the damage to actually get the kill onto Hans. Means he can actually go back to base, and it's this overextension here. Great damage coming out from Comp consistently as they're trying to get this chase, and then Zoelys making the smart choice to not escape, but actually go in with the charged up Q from Comp. That's enough to get the kill, but then Mikyx saying, you know what, I think I can actually get a kill myself here. And it's great how he utilizes the fog, stays in darkness. Comp quickly shuts that down with an arrow to the knee.
Big ol' hitbox. You're riding a horse. Hit the girl and hit the horse. Easy. Follow-up is there. Comp now locked up. Mikyx there for the follow-up. Hansama has been rooted up as well, but as Mikyx's in trouble, Hansama can't get in range to hit them. It's a clean engage again coming through. Zoelys playing like a man possessed on this Rakan.
Now Yike and Caps have made their way down.
Cap's gonna be in trouble here. Larssen ready to come over the wall. Eyes on Larssen, no ultimate up and available. Knock up onto 1. Comp grabbing the kill. Rogue getting a ton of work done on the bottom side of the map. Almost 1K in their favor as well as the Drake.
A really big overextension from G2. The Rogue is more than happy to take advantage of. That minion wave in the bot lane was massive. And Mikyx's trying to force this fight. And look at how much damage all these minions are doing to Hansama. He feels trapped. It's very difficult for him to follow up. Look at all this damage that he's taking on the backline from the minions. He's hesitant to commit to this play. Mikyx then gets rooted up. The Q also connects onto Hans. An ambitious play from Mikyx, I feel. But maybe because he saw Yike on his way down, they thought that they could make it happen. But now Caps is trapped in the river. Markoon sees an opportunity to go in. Look at the positioning from Comp as well. Nice and safe on the back line. Larssen from over the wall. The damage is good. Koi extend their kills to 5.
And this is what you wanted to see from this bot lane duo. Varus, Rakan together. Finding these angles. You know, Rakan really being the setup. That CC avenue to guarantee the piercing arrows are connecting. Comp party with the Yomus as well can be that much harder to take down. Extra movement speed in the fight can be pretty big. Mikyx looking for the angle onto Larssen. Larssen with a quick and incredibly casual pushback. Says, nah, mate, maybe next time.
Take your steed over yonder. Not today. Yeah, that was a reference to Shrek, actually, I think. Pretty sure.
I'm not sure. I'm a Shrek 2 guy, not a generic Shrek guy. There's one film and one film only for me. Rogue grabbing another Drake. 2 Drakes. You know, small plate advantage for G2. Hansama also going to tread through the top tower, courtesy of those grubs. As G2 have been uncontested on that angle. But Rogue keeping it close. And I'm liking today's version of Rogue a lot more than yesterday's version of Rogue.
I mean, I do like that comp. I like long-range comps in the current meta. I definitely think that them simplifying it is going to do them some some wonders as we get closer and closer to the late game. Comp with 3-0-1 scoreline. The Youmuu's Ghostblade already completed. He's in a fantastic position. Caps is the one having a difficult game. Been the victim of a few ganks, been caught out of position. Bit of over-aggression in the bot lane as well.
Yeah.
And now the pressure's only going to continue to mount because after securing this Herald, you expect Rogue to use this mid, unlock that tower, and then gain so much more access into the enemy jungle, start getting that deeper vision down. So at least looking at Hans.
A comp with range like this loves having that proactive vision control as Mikyx is 1v1ing Larssen. But Larssen, again, not into horses, man.
No. Szygenda gonna TP in. Rogue is keen to fight here, but a great pillar gonna shut that one down. Perfectly placed. Wow, that fits nice and snug in that little gap. Cute little Trundle pillar.
Yep, yes. It's good, Betty. Anyway, comp is going to continue to just be very frustrating for G2 to deal with. He's always going to get prio first. Hansama's never going to be able to walk up and contest him. And that's just is going to be what it's going to be.
I kind of did expect them to just drop the Herald mid, to be honest. They had 4 members of G2 in the bot side River. There was a big window for them to push the Herald, maybe even get a second charge into the tower. But instead, they kind of prioritized those kills, committed the TP. Doesn't end up really converting into much of what they wanted. And the next objective is not for another 3 minutes now. Dragon in 3 minutes, Baron in 4. First items now finished for Caps. Second items being worked on for the side of Rogue. So we're going to enter what is a pretty slow next 2 minutes. There could be a window where they have Larssen push in top, have him then come down into mid, use their numbers to then threaten this mid tier 1. G2 don't have the strongest wave clear without Caps. But outside of that, there's not really a lot of options for these teams to really threaten any objective.
And Caps, as you mentioned before, struggling a little bit. Has the Proto Belt competed, but a significantly cheaper item than the Nashor's Tooth. The additional Blasting Wand as well. Hopefully he can have a bigger impact in these fights. Hasn't really been able to find the multi-man ultimates, either getting pushed away by Larssen's ult or having people flash out or dash out as well. So seen a lot of great Neeko performances this weekend. Notably a lot from Jackie's. See if Caps can match that and have some of these really high impact ultimates. But Vedius, you talked about this earlier. Jax into K'Sante. You were talking to Finn. Once you get that second item on K'Sante, it feels so hard for Jax. It's already feeling hard for Jax. You can see BrokenBlade just conceding the push pretty consistently, walking away from the trades here. Although now he's going to fight for the wave, knowing that he has Mikyx behind him. Pullback is there. Stun not going to connect. I feel like the loss of Divine Sunderer hurts Jax so much,
it does.
Man. It was just free sustain for any champion who wanted it. And now you just got Grasp.
Yep. It's a good summary. And now you kind of also build Titanic Hydra, which
is great for push. Not so good for the trading.
Yeah. It's definitely not the worst, of course. You can still see him, for now, getting the trade advantages against Szygenda.
There are 3 people with the item in the game. It's obviously a pretty strong item still.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I guess it does make a lot of sense on Trundle, actually, now that I think about it. It just kind of gives you all the stats that you want, really, doesn't it?
I mean, just name a jungler who doesn't love
damaging health.
A Tiamat in their kit to clear, basically, Raptors, right? Here comes Yike. Mayor of Troll Town. Troll Judge, execute Troll.
Well, unfortunately, the 3-minute timer that we mentioned earlier nearly over. Dragon spawning in about 45 seconds, but G2 have set their eyes on this tier 2 top, but I think Rogue can respond.
I think they're late to the play. They don't have the resources up here to match.
They are, yeah.
G2 with the massive Void buff.
I mean, credit to G2, they saw an opportunity there. Rogue were caught with their pants down a little bit. You see all this vision invested on the bot side of the map. There are all these wards already invested from Rogue. We're getting ready to contest this Dragon. I mean, Markoon also on that side of the map. And then G2 said, okay, we'll just take a tier 2 top. So nice advantage game for G2 there.
Yeah, Mikyx just posturing on the side to stop Rogue from walking forward and hitting the tower, giving Hansama enough time to walk up and clear the wave. Clean macro in the mid game. You heard from the G2 boys, you heard from Duff as well. You know, Duffman coming back, working on the mid game with him, and it's clearly paying off. Cap's faring a lot better in the trades against Azir now that he has a bit more items under his belt.
Dragon now started off by Rogue. They're in a much better position than G2, who are continuing to invest their people up towards the top side. Bear in mind, Rogue now at soul point. G2 seem to be completely fine with that.
And we saw this yesterday versus KC as well. I believe KC got the first 3 dicks or got to soul point. And it was G2 who had to fight so hard to get in the way. G2 very willing to play topside and concede Drakes. But it might cost them. I mean, it is
TP top as well.
TP top. Larssen. An Emperor. Hunted. Trying to dash away. BrokenBlade. There's nowhere to go. Yes, there is! Woo! This man's dynasty not going to be ended today. Emperor standing strong.
Yeah, nice flash into Glide. Flashes away from the stun of BrokenBlade. And Caps couldn't really get involved in the play. Now Rogue see a window. Mikyx, can he interrupt? No, he cannot.
Can't do much there. Might's going to keep running. Herald will not get remounted. Mikyx's going to make sure that Hansama there to clear it out. But fantastic escape from Larssen. Getting the flash could matter in the fights to come, most certainly. G2 didn't really burn a lot of resources outside of BB's TP to make that play happen.
But, I mean, that's a double TP advantage now for Rogue. Things like Baron become a lot scarier
Caps
for
did
G2.
as well. Excuse me, Caps just burned his TP.
Yeah, because BrokenBlade committed his CP to that top lane play, as you highlighted, right? So, G2, they went for an ambitious play. If they found that pick onto Larssen, then a Baron threat becomes a possibility. But they couldn't find it. Larssen gets away. So instead, they lost their mid-tier 1. They took a lot of damage on the tier 2 bot. Caps is now trapped here. And I wouldn't be surprised, Rogue could try and force a Baron here. Because they know they have the numbers advantage. It's not necessarily about getting the Baron, it's about trying to force a fight with the numbers advantage. So I would love to see Szygenda trying to interrupt Caps, trying to keep him here in the bot lane. If nothing else, keeping pressure onto that bot tower. Leverage the fact that you have a TP advantage to force G2 into an awkward position.
Yeah, I want to see Rogue really struggling to find proactive angles yesterday. Maybe they can find them today as Markoon just continues to poke away at Mikyx. Larssen on the top side as well. Top lane tier 1. Feels like they could have tried to force that a little bit more, but BrokenBlade giving access to jump in.
I mean, they know Caps is bot right now. This is a perfect opportunity. Like, I think you can just have Szygenda TP and just start threatening the Baron.
So at least recalling.
G2's going in.
Markoon isolated. Rogue were the one spending so much time on the top side, but that's the TP advantage now coming in. Larssen uncontested on the backside, moves in, shuffles one. So many flashes now coming out, but it's Szygenda now. So powerful. Will it be enough? Consistently CC denied access to the backline. Stopped from making a greater play.
I mean, very surprising to see G2 try to force that.
There. Zoelys immediate follow-up. Comp now on a rampage. Szygenda zoning off. Objective started. They've got the Azir. Should be able to shred through this one very quickly. The Baron now pulling them back into the pit. Caps off to the side as well. Has flash, has ulti available. No jungler standing for G2. And the way they're posturing, looks like they just want to concede this one.
I mean, G2 made it easy for Rogue. They invited the teleport. They started that fight and said, come, 5v4 us. The fight was disjointed, and Rogue was very quick to tear G2 apart. You'll see the engage come through from G2 here. They think they've caught Markoon isolated, but look at the positioning of Larssen. A great ultimate from Markoon splits up the G2 team. Hansama is trapped behind the wall with the TP coming in. He can't get involved. Yike then in a 1v4 loses life, and only now does Caps arrive, but it's too little too late. Then Mikyx, he knows he's on top of awards. He's going to get punished with another great engage coming in from Zoelys. A good ultimate from Comp to initiate. 2 members of G2 dead. An easy Baron pickup for Rogue.
And Rogue did great. G2 not pleased. Shout out to that Rogue guy. Big claps. Look, man, Rogue played that fight fantastically. I think they played their ranges super well. If you watch Hansama in that fight, he autoed, I think, 2 times, and both times were on an ulting Xin Zhao. So he did no damage.
Yep.
Just leveraging the tanky frontline that they have with Markoon when his ult is available, and Szygenda to just ensure that Aphelios couldn't join the fight, punishing G2 for being so split. And Rogue right now taking over the game. It's 59 seconds and counting.
The crazy thing is, the goal difference isn't that big.
No. Very close game in terms of gold, which means the fights, I mean, 3K is, you know, decent with 3 Drakes as well.
Yeah, now that towers are starting to fall more and more, it's going to balloon even further for Rogue.
Well, certainly
Sieging bot, love this play from Rogue.
Here we go.
Full confidence.
Caps TPing in, but he's TPing onto a ward. They know that Caps is coming. They know the flank is there. It doesn't mean they can get out safely. They don't really have room to force a recall.
Nice use of the Azir turret there to cover for the potential flank. Caps is now in a very awkward spot. I don't know how you get out of this one, Caps.
I don't know how you get out of this one either. Sidestep, wind becomes lightning, dash in. He dies before he can do anything, trying to force an ult out. Good recall. Good play, good ward coverage. Woo! Rogue! It's nice to see you here. Oh, we missed you on the first few days, but showing up big.
They're going to get themselves the soul as well. This is A typical week of the LEC.
Is there anything more G2 than winning your first 2 games and immediately losing to a team that struggled all weekend?
Yeah, I mean, expectations are G2 going to look to try and get themselves a 3-0.
Damn.
Rogue 0-3. And then what happens? Rogue simplify their approach. They come in with a straightforward, easy to execute draft. And they've just kind of played to their advantages. They've just punished the mistakes of G2. Ultimate. Comp has missed a few of those now, but that's all right.
But I have to call it Zoelys. I mean, this guy's been everywhere that he needs to be. Fantastic plays, good punishes. BrokenBlade now the one in trouble. Counter-Strike comes out. Gonna get a bit of damage down, try to punish and get a little bit more damage on a comp. Not nearly enough to finish the job, however.
And another tower likely to go in favor of Rogue, trying to get as much out of this Baron as possible. It will fade off, but might not matter, as it will secure them another advantage. That's going to extend the gold lead to 4K now.
And while the job's not done, those ulti cooldowns incredibly low. And a Rakan with Cloud Drake is a terrifying prospect. Trundle also has not really been able to do much as of yet. Cap's trying to clear mid-wave. But again, if there's no way for your Jax to kill the Cassante, there is absolutely no way your Neeko is going to kill the Cassante.
I like this confidence from Rogue. They're not slowing down. They pushed the towers in bot lane. They've transitioned their pressure to top. Secured another 2 towers. And now they're in a very healthy spot. Now you just have to wait for the next Baron to spawn. And this will be the decider. Because Rogue, this is their game to lose now. The worst thing they could do is lose a Baron.
All right. And the thing is right now, I feel like Rogue have washed away all of the sins, let's say, of the last 2 days.
Okay, you're being very generous, but all right.
Yeah, well, for me right now, if they can close this out cleanly, that's massive. For Rogue fans' confidence in this team, for any pundit or analyst confidence in this team. Sure, it's easy to probably attribute some of this to G2's mistakes, but Rogue have played really well. But if they just throw after building such a big lead, that will be heartbreaking.
Let's see what they can do. Yike gonna get a tower of his own with the help of the Void Might. Or as Medic would say, Void can't.
Stop. You cringed at that. Why would you make the joke again? You cringed at it the first time. Don't make me
because he's
cringe
not
at it
here,
too.
so I had to get him in,
Shout out to our boy Medic. He's alive. He's just not working today. He's not here.
Shout
not
out.
like in honor of...
in honor of Medic.
Yeah.
Always thinking of you, buddy.
Bless up. Miss you every day. Medic's fine. He's at home. Just again, to be clear.
Completely fine. He's completely, totally fine. All right, the crowd rallying the support. They've been pretty quiet this game.
Well, understandably.
Yeah, but they realize,
rallying.
they've got to bring the energy back. They know the Baron's spawning in 40 seconds, and this is going to be the moment. Can Hans get his 3rd item before the objective? Quick look at his gold. I think he's close.
I mean,
I forget exactly. I'm assuming he's building a Bloodthirster, but I forget.
Yeah.
I think a Bloodthirster is 1,500 from the components, but it might be less.
Yeah, usually I have the crit cloak and not the vamp.
And we'll see.
But he does have it.
All right, he's got it. Great. This is a really big deal.
That's a ton of extra AD and lifesteal. So will matter a lot in these close potential fights. But I don't know if he's going to get the opportunity to get into range. That's the big thing about this Rogue composition is if they have first access to any objective, they can set up, they can poke as G2 come to check.
Oh, yeah.
They really get to decide the pace of this game.
Well, here we go. Now the fight over the mid wave begins. Rogue already have good push on the top side of the map. It's being started. Larssen is just melting through this objective.
Larssen and Szygenda have the angle. But as long as they have eyes on Yike, they don't have to be too scared. Trundle has flash, but definitely not the best champion for contesting these objectives. BrokenBlade running mid lane to break down this tier 2. It is an objective bounty, so right now G2 coming out on top, but if Rogue can cleanly collapse here, it could all fall apart for G2.
BrokenBlade forced to ward hop over the wall.
Coming out,
flash
out,
away.
Dash away from Larssen. So BrokenBlade's flash, no longer available.
So Rogue have pushed G2 out of that tower. No objective gain for them. They push in the mid wave. Now they move back towards the Baron. They haven't spotted out that one ward, though, which gives G2 a lot of information as to what is happening around the Baron. Our observers highlighting it for us now.
Awkwardly, it's giving them not a lot of information.
That's
it
the ultimate
didn't cover
from
the entrance
Zoelys.
to the pit. But that's the TP now coming in. Objective bounty claim. Tier 2 down. The engage. Yike stepping forward. As long as he has the ability to ult Szygenda, he should be just fine.
Look at Markoon. He's looking for an angle over the wall.
Fishing, hoping to connect on the wind becomes lightning. Both sides just posturing so much. G2 constantly threatening mid as an answer to Rogue, posturing towards Baron.
Yeah, it's all because of the Baron that this dance is happening right now. Both teams are just looking for that slide edge. Here we go.
Nice sidestep from Hansama. Hansama just clearing the way.
Hang
They're just
on.
focused. What game are they playing? They're just refusing to fight. They're just breaking the base. What is it going to cost them? Hansama still untouched on the backside. Markoon ulti already down. Keep your eyes on Hans in the fight to come out. Larssen now trying to push back. Flashback from Hansama, but it is simply not enough. The lifesteal will not save him. Szygenda still strong. G2 getting tricky. Baro will not fall for the trap. They lose an inhibitor, but they take the fight.
That's the TP coming out from Szygenda and Larssen with 4 members dead on G2. They have a wave in the bot lane and they're looking to end things right here, right now. What a crazy series of events. G2 got themselves an inhibitor, but Rogue's collapse was better and they're able to find the fight.
No arm guard on Caps. Just now coming back, ulti up and available. Impossible for him to hold this alone. Is going to move in, is just going to try to take out the minion wave, is going to try to buy a bit more time, but is it enough? Stopwatch is there, Caps now dashing out to safety. Comp dominating, but he's bought G2 another chance at life.
But the Elder Dragon and the Baron are both up. Yes, Rogue will limp away.
Broker resetting. If Mikyx interrupts,
Mikyx has to interrupt. That's what he needs. Oh, but he's going to go the wrong way. That means that Rogue are going to get a clean escape. All 5 members alive. Opportunity now picked up for Comp.
G2 have to win a 4v5 or find a way to force them off the objective without giving up too much. Hansama's ult might be available.
No flash, making the steal that much harder. Rogue in a great position.
Are they just going to try to trade it for Baron? That's not a great trade deal, but it might be their only option. But Rogue don't have to take the trade. They just see where G2 goes and punish. They have the man advantage. They know they do. G2 can just try to buy time for Caps. 10 seconds and counting on the respawn timer, but no TP for Caps available. Rogue can just burn this objective down and look to contest G2 at the Baron.
Because Rogue want the fight. Once they've got the Elder, a fight is all they care about. So G2 have got to be as quick as possible, and they've got to get away. Here's Szygenda.
Part 1, get the Baron achieved. Get the hell out is part 2, and they might not be able to find it. Yike now knocked up. Comp coming in. Ulti goes in. Yike trying to buy a bit more time, but it's just not strong enough to stand in the face of that Elder Dragon buff.
So the weird thing is that G2 actually have push in top, push in mid. Caps is going to go catch bot wave, and so this Baron may have been enough to stall. Because the thing about the Baron is with the added strength of the minion waves, it's just going to allow G2 to buy time and avoid the fight. They're going to get themselves another opportunity to find a way back into the game. That's why Rogue have to force.
Yeah.
They need to find a way to leverage this Elder, because in a 5v5, or right now a 5v4, naturally they're just going to win out.
Yeah. And proactivity was such a struggle for Rogue yesterday, but if they can get aggressive here, if they can find the engage angle in the duration, in the next minute and 30 seconds of this Elder Drake, they can find the win. But if G2 just get to keep stalling, we're going to be on much more even footing as we get later into the game. Only the Cloud
I like
Soul.
this push top. I think it makes a lot of sense. But here we are. This is the annoyance of the minion waves. It just buys a little bit more time. They also do more damage to the opposing minions, so those are going to be slowly thinned out. Caps is going to look to thin this wave out as much as he can. Hansama is going to catch mid. 1 minute left. Rogue have to find something.
Importantly, Larssen has Seekers, the new stopwatch passive, so can try to be a playmaker in the fight to come. G2 just clearing the waves as best as they can, trying to stop minions from getting to their tower.
Rogue doing the right thing, playing with 51 confidence. Seconds. They know they're stronger. They've secured themselves another inhibitor, but they can't relent on the pressure. They now make their way towards mid.
40 seconds and counting. G2 just trying to hold on. Remember, even if the Elder falls away, Rogue are still heavily favored in the fight. They have massive advantages. But there's no way, absolutely no way G2 can win a fight with Elder backing up Rogue. 28 seconds. Rogue just moving forward, taking their time. They have the waves in their favor finally. We'll break down another inhibitor. All 3 inhibitors down.
They're doing this tutorial style. And here we go, a few minions. 15 seconds left on the Elder.
Nice dash back. Yike needs to clear the wave here. Supers on the bottom side will eventually come in. Rogue can just keep playing this controlled, collected. They don't need to rush anything at this point. While the Elder will fall away, double supers in every single wave means it feels like an inevitability that G2 will lose this game.
Slowly but surely, the minions are beginning to mount.
If G2 can get Caps' flash back up, maybe there's an angle. But it's just so hard.
Rogue are taking their time. They're playing it safe. It's G2 that have to pull the trigger now.
Pullback won't connect on the Q3 from Szygenda. Pillar to buy a bit more space. VP and Szygenda trading, not a lot going to come from it. Ulti going in from Comp, first major cooldown used. Caps now a melee creep, that much harder to hit, even if Rogue are aware of it.
And now the Baron's gone. Means the siege is much easier for Rogue. Just chipping away at the HP. Comp forcing BrokenBlade back, but he's going to be able to heal up very quickly.
Double supers here. Caps going forward, flash in, but everyone's immediately going to flash out. Markoon steps forward to punish, but he might be a little bit too eager because BrokenBlade is right there. Zoelys on the backside, but Hans still standing. Keep your eyes on Hans. He has to be the difference maker. Mikyx creating so much space. Yike stepping forward, 80 carry untouched. G2, can they find the fight? Larssen still on the backside. The Emperor still throwing down soldiers, laying down damage, but Hans lives. A perfect transition to Severum to stay standing with the minions. The minions might just end the game. G2 barely holding on, barely taking the
Larssen
fight.
has TP. He's going to go back to base and rejoin the fray. Comp using his range just has to play away from Hans. The ultimate lands.
Can't follow up. There's too much lifesteal on Hans between the BT and Severum. It's hard to deal with. Might not be! So much damage. Almost all of his health gone. Hans needs to sidestep, and he'll do it just in time. Bot lane inhibitor is back. Double creep wave slowed down. They need to get on top of Larssen, but they don't have the range. Hans does now, however.
There are no summoners anywhere. The Dragon and the Baron are going to be spawning in 2 minutes' time, but miraculously, G2 hold the line. A sigh of relief from the coaching staff of G2. If they could have killed Comp and Larssen, that could have been the end of the game for G2. But look at this initiation. Caps makes the play. The flash away from Comp, but it stuns up Markoon. He goes into a little too early, loses so much of his HP. The engage from Mikyx on the backline was incredible because Zoelys then gets isolated. Then look at this damage from Hans here. Shreds the backline, forces Rogue on the retreat. But the second Larssen gets this tower up, Szygenda acting as a wall, gets onto Hans and forces the fight to be split up for G2. Once Larssen and Comp could regroup, that was when they were able to stave off G2 and not make the fight any worse. 3 for 2 in favor of G2. But now the Elder spawns in 45 seconds. G2 have found a way out of their base, but it is in tatters.
Pillar there to buy a bit more space. Caps now needs to retreat, getting completely shredded by Larssen. Yike body blocking where possible. Mikyx needs to jump out to safety as well.
That's a flash.
Pullback is big. Larssen now untouched on the backside. Mikyx trying to buy a bit more space. Ulti not going to connect from Hans. That might just be it. Zoelys again finding the follow-up engages for Khan. Will not quit. Rogue marching down mid lane. This should just be their victory. One final fight win to close things out. Markoon zoning away. Szygenda eyes on the prize. He is not messing around anymore. Knock up there, but again, Szygenda's just too damn tanky. The shutdown onto Hans. Rogue have done it. Their first win, and a win against G2. A fantastic way to end week 1.
A chaotic end to the game, but they got a much-needed victory. 11-0-8 for Comp. His positioning fantastic throughout the game.
Bot lane doing work for Rogue in this game, and you can see the embrace there on stage. A lot of emotion. Difficult game, to be sure. G2 a hard team to count out until you've knocked down that Nexus, but knocked down the Nexus, Rogue certainly did. Of course, player of the game, Markoon, Comp, Zoelys. You can let us know. Zoelys. I'm going to keep butchering that one, sorry. Great recon game, though. I would argue it's probably him. Could also be Comp. You can take your pick.
I mean, it was a super exciting game. Credits to Rogue. They really did punish a lot of the mistakes that G2 did. And I still want to see a little bit more proactivity from them. I think that there were windows where they could have pushed their advantage.
This is a huge step in the right direction.
And that's definitely exactly that, a step in the right direction for sure. They can take their first bow of winter. They are finally on the board, and they will avoid the 0-3 week here in the LEC Winter Split.
Deny 3-0 from G2 as well. Hope as you head into week 2 of scrims, most certainly. See if they can take that momentum forward into week 2. We are moments away from interviewing the victorious Rogue.
Do you know what game?
And they're ready now. Whoa, just interrupting you, just like you're a Portuguese guy. Anyway, here we go, on stage with Laure.
Yeah, I'm ready with Zoelys. Now you know how to pronounce it. And thank you guys for the support and congrats on winning your very first LEC game, Zoelys. against G2 on top of that. How was it? Tell me about navigating through this chaos, because this is usually what G2 is going to throw at you.
Yeah, we knew how they play, how they like to play, and I think we are pretty good against them because we don't really play the game, you know, like last 2 games was really bad from us, we didn't play, so they kind of force us to play, and when we play, we are not bad, so I'm really happy about this win.
It was kind of a slow start for you guys, but of course it's just the first week, people getting used to playing together, you also getting used to playing on this amazing stage. Tell me about this week and bouncing back today and how important it was for you leading to week 2.
Yeah, it was important to like start with a good week because, you know, it's snowball with the confidence and stuff, so yeah, first game I was like a bit stressed, second game as well, and now we are just like we talked yesterday, and we just need to play the game and don't care about the result, you know, just play and we see what happens. And today was really good.
And how about you? Your experience playing in the LEC? I'm extra proud, of course, whenever we have new LFL players joining the league. Congratulations!
Thank you.
Welcome to the LEC, of course. Tell me about the off-season. Did you expect to join the league? I think you were on the list of prospects that we expected to see in the league this year. But how was it for you? And joining Rogue as well.
I kind of knew Rogue like me since like spring split, but after the disaster summer and like the last place in the FL, I was like, maybe I will not join LEC, but they kind of like me, so I'm really thankful for that, and I hope we'll do a good season.
And thinking about you, your style, and the amazing supports we have in the league alongside you, how do you want to stand out? What is Zoelys going to be about? What is going to be your trademark?
I think we kind of want to change a bit the Rogue, you know, like playing slow. I want to like bring back like a good bot lane, play really aggressive with comp, and we work a lot on this, so yeah, I hope we'll play more aggressive later.
Some words about the bot lane synergy with comp, because you talked about aggressive. I think that's what we're going to see with you guys playing together.
Yeah, we practice a lot because we are not really on the same page at start, and now we joke a lot, play a lot together, so we start to get better and better, and we'll still get better, I think.
Well, Zoelys, I'm happy you can finish the week 1 on a good note. Bienvenue en LEC. Thank you for the interview and good luck on week 2. And after the break, we'll preview Team Heretics versus Giant X with a special tribute of Yonkers 600 game in the LEC. Do not go anywhere.
Welcome everyone to the Kia Tilt-Proof Challenge. We're here to see if 4 gameouts can stand up to the test.
Dios mío de mi vida.
I think I lost.
I'm so happy that I didn't eat before.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Oh.